Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be the first video in a series I'm gonna call something like Developer Recap or DevRecap. And the whole idea behind the series is to kind of just explain or talk about a situation that I dealt with recently in my developer experience either in my personal life or in my professional life. Keeping things, clients and stuff vague and changed so that for privacy reasons and stuff like that, but and just kind of to talk about something that happened, and maybe you guys can learn from it or find it interesting. And these videos are going to be, sometimes I'll be writing code, sometimes I'll be showing some graphics or drawing things, just to explain or kind of help you guys understand what I'm actually talking about. But the whole idea is that these videos are going to be a little less formal, a little less structured, and a little bit more just me talking at the camera kind of thing. And these aren't going to replace my tutorial videos. I'm not going to start doing these all the time. I'm thinking maybe I'll do one of these a week or something, just depending on if there's been anything interesting I can talk about, or talk to. But yeah, I figured these will be a fun way to augment my tutorial videos. And yeah, so anyways, today was, I guess, going to be episode 0. We'll start from 0. And what I want to talk about is something that happened in actually my job, my professional life. For those of you who don't know, I'm a web developer. I do primarily back-end stuff, but I would call myself a full stack developer. I'm very comfortable in the front end. I'm not a front end ninja by any means, but I am very capable with JavaScript, CSS, HTML, all the basics and more. Just over the years, I've gained that experience. I work specifically in the CS department, which stands for client services, and I do basically long-term support for our clients. So I'm constantly tasked with coming to an old site and fixing things, back end, front end, whatever. And sometimes they're new sites too, but it could be a range of new to old sites, and front end to back end. So I would call myself a full stack developer. So in this specific case, we get tickets for each, from clients for each like bug or change or update that we need to make. And the client had noticed an issue. This client, we built a functionality for them to embed questionnaires into websites. And this questionnaire was supposed to basically allow people to find a location near them, in order to participate in an activity. And in this specific case, what had happened is the person had put in their zip code, and they had found something, even though they had found a location, even though technically, according to the client at least, the logic we had set up for them made it so that they shouldn't be able to. And basically, the specific case here was that the user can enter a zip code, and so I guess I should start on the client side. On the client side, what they can do is they can set up this location, where this activity can occur. They can set up multiple locations for each activity, and they can set a radius. So, like, say this activity is at location XYZ, and they want people within 100 miles of location XYZ to be able to join the activity and find it through the questionnaire and join the activity. So the specific situation was that they had set this up for people in the UK and Ireland, and they wanted it to be, according to them, everyone within a 65-mile radius of the specific site that this activity would occur at. Sorry, I'm keeping it kind of vague, but it's less about what actually happened and more about, or it's less about the specifics and more about the problem solving that's interesting. So essentially, what had happened is someone had put in an address that's technically, or they put in a zip code that's technically in Scotland, and but somehow they were able to find the study or find the activity and put in, like, submit a ticket, and then everything goes into review. But they noticed, they were like, oh, well, how did this person get in there? That's a Scotland zip code. They shouldn't be allowed. This is a UK study thing only, and they wanted us just to investigate to figure out what was going on, because they're like, given the parameters that we set. And also one of the things was that the zip code they gave was 65.5 miles away from this, from the location. So, and they claimed that the radius was set to 65. And so, looking at this was like, okay, sounds like something broke down. It could be a logic problem. It could be, a lot of things that could have happened here. It could just have been a fluke. They could have somehow submitted the form in a weird way. It's an older site, so there's things, or it's not an older site, but yeah, I guess I'll call it an older site. So that, maybe something broke down because they were able to get around something, or maybe it was a bot or something. So looking into it, I went to the production site, because we have essentially 3 environments for each site. We have a production version, we have a middle ground where our middle ground version where it's for the client to test things before they go live, and then we have a dev version where we do most of our development, and at any given time it could be broken, so we don't want the client looking at that version of the site, so we have that middle ground site, and then again the production site. So 3 sites, or 3 environments for each site. And so I went on the production site, and I could verify that if I entered the zip code they gave me and did a search, the study didn't show up. So whatever was on the prod site, they had fixed it such that or what was on the prod site, it was set up so that this person shouldn't have been able to sign up. But then I went to the middle ground site, we'll call it the stage site, and or the staging site. And the staging site, essentially what happens when you deploy these different environments is they take a snapshot of the production database and code and assets, and it pulls them down. And then, over time they'll get out of sync with prod, because it's just a snapshot from the time of deployment. But when I went to the staging site and did the exact same thing, the location did show up in the search. And like I said, they claimed that the radius they'd set was 65 miles, and the study said it was 65.5 miles away, which to me was a little suspicious, because it was like, seems like they cherry picked a value of 65 for that radius such that it was just within the distance to wherever this person was trying to search from. So it's a little suspicious. And then I'm like, well, why is it showing up on the staging site but not on the prod site? So basically what they can do in the back end, like I kind of described, is they can set a specific radius for each location, and they set viable countries, but you don't actually even have to enter a country, but you'll see in a minute that it didn't actually matter. Essentially what had happened is the original radius at the snapshot that we took when the staging site was deployed was 75 miles, not 65 miles. And also what happened was this person was from Scotland instead of UK. And I'm not going to get into politics of what's going on in Europe and UK and all that stuff. But essentially the way that these lookups work and the database works is the company supplies us with a database full of zip codes, and we import that into the website database so that it can be used to calculate distances and things like that. And when they gave us this database, Scotland zip codes were included in the UK database. Again, not going to get into politics. All those zip codes were put in as UK. And so when the person did the search, the site's going, oh, that's a UK zip code. It's within 75 miles, which was the original radius. And so they showed the study or the activity, so they could click on it and basically include it or be included for that activity. And I just thought this was a kind of interesting scenario where it seems like what most likely happened was someone noticed that, oh, it looks like these zip codes that are outside of the area that we want to allow are being allowed, so we'll change it. But before they changed it, someone was able to get in, and then later when they noticed someone was able to get in, they were like, well, how did this happen? And it's important, I think, to kind of try and imagine the scenario that happened and explain it to the client, so that you're not just telling them, well, this is fine based off of like what we've looked at, this was allowed. It's very important to like look back and say, oh, it seems like what probably happened was this, this, and this, and during at some point something changed, and because something changed, this was allowed before that thing was changed, and after it wasn't allowed, but there was a small window where someone was able to sneak in. So anyways, all that to say, I just thought this was a very interesting scenario of perfect timing of things changing and being set up, and then someone getting in right before it gets changed, or maybe someone got in, they noticed the issue, changed it, and then someone else noticed it, and that's when it got pointed out to us. Either way, I thought it was just kind of an interesting story. I thought it's something that can be maybe learned from in some way. If you guys found this interesting, found it helpful, consider giving it a like, or if you just want to discuss down below if you found this helpful, or have any questions for me, feel free to drop those down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, or you want to check out any of my NCurses tutorials, or other tutorials, feel free to go check those out. And if you want to see more videos, consider subscribing. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you have a great day.